Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the BTM channel, and in today's video, as you guys can see, we are about to do my mock draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. Just came out weird out of the mouth there. Pause. That sounds weird. But yeah, we're gonna do 7 rounds of all the Bengals needs and who I think they're going to draft. So obviously. I've already done this, went through this, and picked out who I think they're going to draft. So obviously our first pick is the 31st pick. So I am going to let y'all know who I think we should take with the 31st pick. Alrighty, as you guys can see, it is our pick, and I already have who I think we should pick out. So obviously, if we can get Zion Johnson, he's somebody that I think would be really good for us. Obviously, our needs is O-line, tight end, edge rush, cornerback. We have a lot of just upgraded needs. Not that they're awful, players at that position, but there are things that need to be upgraded for sure. So obviously, first pick, could go cornerback here, but personally, for me, obviously, if we cannot get Zion Johnson or who's the other guy? The other guy I was eyeing. There was Tyler Linderbaum, or however you say his last name. I don't think we're going to get him. There's no way. So I think we're going to go to the next best option, and I think we are going to kind of just top off our offensive line, and we are going to draft Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M. Obviously, 5-star recruit, 325 pounds, 6'4", is just an absolute beast. Had an amazing season at Texas A&M. Had a 79.8 grade, which is pretty dang good for Pro Football Focus grade. So pretty good for him there. He had a lot of snaps. He's been fairly healthy his whole college career. Obviously, he played 12 games 2021, 2022 he played 10, 2019 he played 13. Obviously, some of that goes to COVID, but some of that is just injuries. But otherwise, though, that is pretty good compared to the mecca of players. But yeah, I mean, he had 333 run block snaps, 404 pass block snaps, and then this is the key stats right here. He only allowed 1 sack and 2 hits and 7 hurries, which is pretty good. Obviously, the hurries, if we can bring that down a little bit, that'll help. But yeah, I think Kenyon Green will be a good first option as our finisher for our offensive line to just kind of put the cherry on top. So our next pick here is the 63rd pick, and with this pick I am going to say, obviously, again, this is just considering if the draft goes like this. Again, this is a very reliable website. Obviously, this is how it will most likely go, or something similar to this, but this is a very unpredictable draft. There's a lot of stuff we do not exactly know what's going to happen. But with our 63rd pick, I am going to say we are going to take Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State. Nothing crazy, obviously. He was nothing insane during his college career. You know what I'm saying? He's a 3-star recruit, obviously, 6'2", 201 pounds. He's a junior, but nothing eye-popping. He had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions 2021. 0 interceptions 2020 and 1 interception in 2019, but he did have a 78.4 overall grade, and he had 641 defensive snaps in 2021. Overall, just a good player. He is. We don't have to get an insane cornerback, obviously, with this pick. Obviously, we still have pretty good corners. We got Mike Hilton, Awuzie, but we got to replace Eli Apple, you know what I'm saying? After that, especially after last year. So I'm going to say with the 63rd pick, we are going to take Martin Emerson, obviously, unless somebody else better is available. Alrighty, so now it is round 3. This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult to predict this type of stuff. That is for sure. I mean, the NFL draft is like the hardest thing to predict. I mean, it's just with trades. That's the thing. Me personally, I think we might trade away our first round pick. I think we might. I don't know, but I think that could be a possibility for us. But nonetheless, we're still got to roll with it. We're still got to pick. but I definitely think that could be a possibility. So now into round 3. I am going to say with our 3rd round pick, we are going to be taking D'Angelo Malone out of Western Kentucky. So fairly smaller school, but he did have a fairly good year. 6'4", 243. He's a senior. His overall grade was a 79.7, so again, solid grade there. But he's honestly been pretty solid. Nonetheless, you know, he has definitely, you know, had some easier competition. That is going to be the one thing with him, is how much can we really develop this guy, because he's not going to be an instant starter, I doubt, for us. So obviously looking at it, he has very good numbers, but again, he has played easier teams. But yeah, you look at his 2021, you know, he has 737 defensive snaps, 14 games played, 7 sacks, 8 hits, 23 hurries, and 2 batted passes. Like, he had a crazy 2021. I mean, especially he went crazy in 2019. All of his years were very good, so he had a very good year. I think he's a player for us that we could probably develop and try to kind of just overall get better. I don't think he'd be, I don't think he'd be an instant starter, but he'd definitely be a development player for us. So I'm gonna say with the 95th pick, we take D'Angelo Malone out of Western Kentucky. Now it is time for the 4th round pick. We are pick number 136 in round number 4. And at this point, we've got the O-line. That's pretty much, finished up. Obviously, in the later rounds, we might draft some just to develop them a little bit. But, overall, we got kind of that cover. We got the cornerback. We got some more. We got an edge rusher now. But I think now it is time to address that tight end spot. Obviously, we got Hayden Hurst, who definitely is excited to be in Cincinnati. Glad to have him here after Uzama left us. But if we can get somebody to develop, that is definitely something we would like to do. So I'm going to say we take with the 136th pick here. Yeah, with the 136th pick, we are going to take Derek Deesh Jr. out of San Jose State. This is a player, again, that, in these rounds, this is where you have to start developing players. He is 6'4", 235. Watched a little bit of, highlights of him. He was decent, what I'm saying? But again, you got to develop these players, especially, I'm saying, it's not like at San Jose they were playing like top schools. But nonetheless, that does not mean he's not good. So overall, he had a very high grade with an 86. And yeah, he had 47 catches, 720 yards, 15 yards per catch, and he had 4 touchdowns. That was kind of his blow up year. He played in 2019 and 2020, but it does not look like he got like a bunch of opportunities. So I'm gonna say with our 4th round pick, 136th pick, I'm gonna say we take Derek Deesh Jr. of San Jose State. Alrighty, so now in round 5, we are the 174th pick, and we've addressed almost pretty much the big need positions. But now we gotta address some needs that honestly could definitely be impactful in the future. So the next player I believe we will be taking is Marquand McCall out of Kentucky, a defensive lineman. Obviously, our defensive line has been very good. We got Trey Hendrickson off the edge. You got Sam Hubbard. You got B.J. Hill that we re-signed, but we did also lose a big player in Larry Ogunjobi. Very big player for us down the stretch. Yeah, I mean, he had a very good year for us, but we did lose him, unfortunately. And so I'm going to say we are going to try to kind of beef up that D-line and try to get somebody that we might be able to develop to get better. So obviously, Marquand McCall, first initial analysis of him, 6'3", 342 pounds, big dude. But again, once you get to these rounds, it is very hard to find anything crazy. His overall grade was 65, so not great. Was not exactly what you're looking for. He had 237 defensive snaps, 0 sacks, 2 hits, 3 hurries, 0 batted. So Obviously, nothing eye-popping, but he is a player that I think we could develop. Obviously, he played a little bit more difficult of schools. So I think he's a player that we can kind of develop and try to get on that D-line. If he doesn't get on there, it's not a big deal, though. So I'm going to say with our, what is this, the 5th round pick, 174th pick, we are going to take Marquin McCall out of Kentucky. So now in round 6, I mean, I think this is the perfect scenario. We are going to the top of the mock draft board here, and we are going to take punter Matt Ariza. Again, I've kind of watched videos of all these guys and whatnot, but I do not know how to say their names, that's for sure. But he is a punter out of San Diego State. There is nothing, you know, there's quite literally not much stats specifically on this website, but obviously I did, you know, watch the kind of some highlights on him. And yeah, I mean, he was a solid punter. You know, you can't really do too much explaining on punter. But yeah, overall, though, I think this is a great pickup for us. We did Kevin Huber, our old punter, has not re-signed yet, so I'm not sure what he's doing. So I think overall, a player to take here is Matt Ariza out of San Diego State. I think he is a good kind of a sleeper pick for us. Alrighty, so now it is our final pick for the mock draft. This is round 7. We are pick number 5. And at this point, you know, again, we've addressed pretty much everything. And obviously now at this point, these are just players you're just trying to develop and obviously try to have some sort of a role on your team. So obviously here we're looking for more depth at the wide receiver position. You know, we could have gone earlier, and as far as for me, I think we should wait a little bit longer to draft a wide receiver. But I think we should also be getting some more depth at halfback. I've been hearing reports that the Bengals are bringing in guys at the halfback position, trying to get more kind of backup, more, you know, role players to go behind Joe Mixon. And I completely agree with that as well. You know, I think obviously if you haven't drafted, you know, I think we could have drafted a wide receiver in an earlier round, you know, but again, I think we have time to wait on that. So for this pick, though, for round 7, pick number 5, I'm going to take Sincere McCormick out of UTSA. So again, obviously this school, I watched his highlights, incredibly, I mean, he looks like a all-around just like 10 out of 10 athlete, just 10 out of 10 player. But that is because he goes to UTSA, you know, a very small school. He's 5'9", 205, kind of more of a, I describe him as almost a Christian McCaffrey, sort of a, you know, receiving back, you know, just a little bit smaller, quicker guy. That's how I would kind of describe him. And I think the reason that I would say the Bengals should take him here is because of his pure ceiling. He has such a high ceiling. Obviously, he has an 82.8 overall grade, very good grade. But then you look at the stats. He has, in 2021, 298 attempts, 1,479 rushing yards. He gets 5 yards per attempt. He had 15 touchdowns, 23 catches for 183 receiving yards. So, again, I would say for this pick, this is, again, one of those picks that the ceiling on him is insanely high, but obviously this is at a lower round. So yeah, I would say for this pick, you know, the Bengals should probably take Sincere McCormick. That would be my pick. That is my mock draft. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that. Let me know any changes you guys would make. Obviously, there's definitely a lot of changes that I think I could even switch around that I just made, that I'm like, maybe we should do this earlier. You know, there's a lot of different things that go into the draft. So let me know what y'all would do. Yeah, without further ado, that's going to be it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.